tape 1, step 1, on how to put together a Road Warriors outfit. As you all know, this is Mike. He's the brainiac behind this idea, and I am the sidekick that he will probably tape me going to do the crazy over-the-fence jumping and stealing shit out of junkyards. Since it's what it sounds like it's going to happen, since I'm ridiculously stupid. And so here we are, we're on our way to find some junkyard places to get some tires. Mike is taking me to a very abandoned place, so if you find this tape and I have gone missing, this is the culprit.
I've always wanted to produce and direct, and the best way to do that is to knock my co-host off.
It's the best way to do it. No other way. Where are we? I think they found Blair Witch out here.
I think it's actually one road over where I saw things, but you know, this is all part of the adventure and part of the excitement. You get out and you see new things. You learn security patrol patterns and who has a dog and who doesn't.
Oh man, I need that cod piece for something else if something goes wrong.
And I've always said that it's not a costume if you don't bleed for it, but I also do not want to get rabies or tetanus shots.
Or herpes.
Where are
syphilis.
you shopping?
Alright, here we go. Alright, we found it.
Okay, and I'm going to show you how easy this is. This is piece number 1. We're going to just pull over real quick here and get out of the car.
Appears to be a Honda Civic hubcap.
Here, we've acquired piece number 1. Not a very exciting tread pattern, hardly threatening.
Yeah,
I want something
it's kind of balded, that tire.
Yeah, I want something with a little cross tread, almost motocross.
Yeah, motocross tires look sick.
Yeah, the knobby tires tend to look really good. I think that was featured a lot in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
So.
Tires! We got tires! Yay! Okay, here we are back in the shop, and pulling in our tires for options.
Well, now let's take a look at some of the things that we've got in here. We got ourselves potential shield. It can be used for other applications. It can be even used for back armor, depending on how it gets. We could even hack it up. At this point, it's just great to have it as raw material. Take a look here. We've also acquired somewhat dirty, but great looking tires. The best thing about it, this was all acquired for the easy to handle fee of free.
Free fee.
Like the tread pattern that we found in this one here. I'm kind of seeing potential to split the entire thing this way and make a right and a left half of what could be shoulder armor. So I think what our next step is going to be here is we're going to find an appropriate tool to split these and start making our pieces.
So we found a old rusty saw.
We're just going to see what the tooth is like on this here.
But I think your standard saw, if you don't have one to cut tires, but maybe $20 in your local Home Depot. But don't quote us on this because this may not work. Is it cutting?
Well, we're cutting. It's going to take a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of time. And remember, please be safe when you're using these tools. We don't want anybody walking away with less fingers than you began with. Remember, anything worth doing takes a little bit of effort. Okay, we've gotten to the point now where we need to cut the metal retainer ring that's on the innermost part of the tire wall, And we are using a bolt cutter. As you can see here, we've gotten the teeth into place. And there we go. Cuts right through. So we've got one more cut to make here. And we'll have this all separated and ready for our next step. I'll show you one more time. Get it into place. And we have our first cuts done. We're ready to move on to our next step. The idea that we have for doing up our shoulder armor is that we're going to split this into a left and right half. So we'll have this nice side here, which is going to go to the outer part of your shoulder, both sides. And I'm going to split it again, so that way we can make a hinge point, measure it off, so that way this C curve here will be able to collapse into a shape that's more conducive with a human shoulder, as obviously none of us are built.
Oh, speak for yourself, buddy.
I'm my co-host.
I'm rocked.
Yeah, bigger than a house.
Yeah, don't look at me though. See, look at this huge, huge arm. Woo! Zoom in. Make sure you zoom in. Okay, yeah.
Well, we have reached the stage now where we have split that tire, which was originally like that, into right and left sections. What we need to do at this point is we'll need to measure this off on the body of the actual person wearing it to know where we want to split it again into a front and back half, so that way we can hinge it at the top of the shoulder. So at this point we're ready to move on to the next step. You can see we're moving along at a fairly good clip. We've only been at this about an hour, so let's move on to the next step. Okay, we are at that point now where we have multiple pieces that we have to start keeping track of, and we just almost made the mistake of cutting through finished parts. So we have set aside our two finished front shoulder armor pieces. This is a back portion that I'm using as a template guide to cut the opposite side rear portion. So, that being said, I know where I have to cut. This is a finished piece. We're keeping it far away so we don't accidentally cut into a finished piece.
Once you get really crazy and you're doing more than one suit at a time, we have agreed that numbering these with some white chalk might help, giving them some sort of a tagline.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
And now we take you back to Mike to bring you this message.
Well, what we've got here is the results of a little over an hour's worth of effort. We've managed to chop up the tire that we found earlier in our segment and produced front and back halves, left and right front and back halves of the shoulder armor. And what our idea here is that we're going to create a hinge point so that this is going to sandwich over shoulder like this. That's going to be achieved through a method as yet to be determined, but I hope what you've got from this segment is that we were able to go out, find raw materials for free, acquire them, get them back to the shop, and with a little bit of patience and elbow grease, like I said, just about over an hour's worth of work, we were able to cut out the first parts that are going to become our Road Warrior, Warriors of the Wasteland outfits.
Angle here. Okay, so this is the front, right?
That goes on the front.
That goes.
The smaller piece goes over your crotch. I'm just kidding. Now now we're just going to go ahead and take this piece here, and you'll see this.
So that sets on the back like
ends
that?
up sitting there, and you end up looking an awful lot like the leader of the Autobots.
Or Decepticon, depending on who you're for.
So, here, you can even hold up these pieces here.
Leave the dirt on, it looks cool.
You see how that beefs him up and it gives him that linebacker look. There will be a section that's going to go across here to cover the pectorals. It'll also beef him out a little bit more. And I'm really looking forward to how this is going to come out. It's going to be one heck of a set of armor.
I'm just going to go test it, see if anyone can stab me without kidding.
All right, well, thank you for watching.